These days on television there is a plethora of programs about antiques, different kinds of competitions in which people want to sell antiques or buy antiques and then put them up for auction in order to see if they can make a profit. And one of the versions has a pair of antiques experts, dealers I suppose, and they go around the country into antique shops looking for bargains, things that they can buy, which they then put up for auction in the hope that they'll make some money. It's a laudable exercise because they say that the profits go to charity. Sometimes in their search through an antique shop, they come across something that they think will make money, and when it comes to the auction they make a bit of profit, or sometimes they make a loss. And then there are other times where they come across something and to their astonishment, when it goes up for auction, it makes vast amounts of money, to everybody's surprise. And it seems that they've not realized, and the person who owned the shop in which the antique was for sale hadn't realized that it was so valuable. But sometimes they go into an antique shop and there's a small thing perhaps looking pretty unimportant, but the dealer knows. The dealer knows it's worth a lot of money, and the shop owner has not realized. And the dealer will buy the very valuable antique for a price way below its true worth, and then makes huge profit. Now, I always wonder about that one. You see, if by accident you buy something and it turns out to be very, very valuable, well, that's your good fortune. But if you cheat somebody, if you come across something that you know really is terrifically valuable and the person who owns it just hasn't understood that, there's a bit of dishonesty there. It's tricking somebody. Really, it's not the right thing to do. But the way the program is shaped, it's just seen as just another moment of insight and expertise of the antiques dealer whom we're following. Jesus gives us two parables about people who buy stuff. There is the one who collects pearls, and he comes across one of great value. And it says, he sold all that he had to buy it. He knows its value, and the vendor knows its value. But the merchant wants the pearl and will pay anything for it. And I suppose a parable that Jesus tells like that is to make us reflect upon how we have to weigh up how important the gift of life is, how important the kingdom is to us, and what kind of price are we prepared to pay for it. Because, of course, we tend to want things on the cheap. We want things to be easy, and yet to be a disciple of Jesus Christ is not always like that. And Jesus is saying, how much will you give for this great gift of everlasting life? How committed are you to it? And in that, it's a really interesting parable because it's to make us stop and reflect. Do I take all of this seriously, or is it just going through the motions? But the other parable, the one where the man finds treasure hidden in a field, well, clearly the owner of the field doesn't know, isn't aware that there's treasure in his field, so he sells it at a knockdown price, way below its true value. And the man is full of joy as he buys the field and therefore has the treasure. Is God recommending us to be dishonest? Is Jesus saying, try and fool people? Fool people into selling you something, giving you something that's way beyond what you're prepared to pay. I think there's something going on in this parable of Jesus saying to us, whatever you give, you may think you can trick God, and of course God is not fooled, and yet God still allows you to do it. God allows himself to be taken for a ride. God allows himself to be put upon. God allows himself to be apparently fooled. Now, he's not fooled, but he is so generous, so kind, so gentle, that he turns a blind eye to the treasure that we're buying for next to nothing. God holds out to us great treasures which we cannot deserve, which we cannot pay for. And he says, it's yours.